Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another episode of Tish Talks Tech. Guess what? I have with us today one of the most brilliant people on the face of the earth, a trailblazer. Wait, don't you start. A trailblazer, someone that is just here, present, a legend, a hero, a technology hero, Alyse 𝗏𝗏𝗏. You all, CRO, Rocket Software. Take it all in and out.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was some introduction. Thank you.
no, thank you. I so appreciate you. And I don't know if you can hear my computer going ding, ding. That's like everybody saying hello, hello. I am so happy that you are here with us today. If you don't mind, like we said earlier, I went ahead, I turned on chat just in case anybody wants to say hello, they will. And I'm just tickled pink, pleased as punch that you are here. And with us, you are, you have a story for us all. And like we were talking before, folks will be so inspired just by your story alone that tomorrow they just might walk out and be like, you know what? I can do this. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. I watched Alyse on Tish Talks Tech, and you know what? I'm about to do the impossible. And so I just want to let you know, thank you. If you hadn't heard it today, my hat's off to you. You are a technology hero.
Well,
And
first
I
of all,
just
Tisha,
appreciate
I am
you.
honored to be here, and you are blowing this up. And if my kids were watching this, they would
No,
not recognize anything that you just said. Like they'd be like, "Really? That's just my mom."
no. Can we start from like the way beginning? Because um folks, a lot of folks know you, okay, but like I try to tell my guests, look, folks that come on the show, they know they come here because they are true believers in the code. You know, they really love technology. They want to help folks to really understand that this is where it's at, no matter where you are, right? And for you, you started like when AI was just an A, and that was like a lowercase a, and you have just done things with technology that we can only dream. Can we start from the beginning? How did you, let me see here, how did you even get started? Where did all that begin?
You know, certainly I have to credit my dad because if it wasn't for him pushing me into the math and sciences, which I always had, an aptitude for, and I loved math going through school. But I
Hmm.
think if it hadn't been for him pushing me into, computer classes when I was in high school and then into a computer science degree as part of my undergraduate, I could have easily fallen into a different degree, just as good, but it wouldn't have been in the math and sciences. So I think, I'm really grateful that I had somebody, push, and this was, oh my gosh, I'm going to date myself, probably 35, 40 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, and it was more unusual for women to go into the math and sciences then.
Okay.
But I loved it, and I'm eternally grateful to my dad for pushing me in that direction. And he was an IBMer. I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York, and if you know Poughkeepsie, it's sort of the mainframe capital for IBM. And uh, everyone at the time worked for IBM. You looked left, you looked right. Everybody that we knew, our extended family, friends, neighbors, everybody worked for IBM. It was the IBM community for sure. And
Hmm.
it just sort of became expected that I would follow in my dad's footsteps and also start my career at IBM. And I did. I was a systems engineer, and that's how I started, the very bottom of the totem pole, writing code, doing performance testing for IMS and DB2, going into the raised floor and laying cables and debugging machines, and um, just I loved it. Like I really did a lot of great work there. Did trade shows where we'd go, and actually we tour with, I don't remember if this is definitely dating myself, but we used to have this like parallel cisplex bus, and we'd go to all the trade shows, and the bus would set up, and we would start demonstrating, the large parallel cisplex systems, and introducing client server capabilities to clients. So it was just crazy. So I did that for a lot of years, and went into development management, all of that kind of leveling up a bit. But then, I always had a passion for working with clients, and I knew that I wanted to do something more than just writing code. And so I made that known. So I think the second kind of really thing that popped for me is that I had great mentors as I worked my way through IBM, and I shared with them, what I wanted my journey to be. I wanted to go into management, and I was, probably one of the younger managers that first went into it, but it was because I made it known. I wanted to go into management. I wanted to manage people. And then I wanted to go do something different. I wanted to work with clients, and I started down a technical sales track, which was pretty unusual. And then I had an opportunity. I had some, kids along the way. I had two daughters. They were still very young. I was fortunate to go back to get my master's degree, and IBM was an amazing company and very supportive of allowing you to work and go for a degree that they paid for at the time. So I got my master's degree in computer science at RPI. And along the way, I got the opportunity to pick up and move to California to run IMS development. And I remember when my mentor at the time had moved out to California already and called back and said, "Hey, don't you want to come out here? And I've got a great job for you." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God, no." I have two kids, two girls at the time. They were 2 and 4, and I had a whole ecosystem in New York. And I'm thinking, I can't do that. As much as I am tempted to, I just can't. And then the seed sort of like just starts to grow, and you're like, what if I really could go out there? And then my husband at the time was very supportive, and we picked up and moved our family out to California, and that continued my journey through IBM. And then I moved from the hardware side of IBM to the software side of IBM, and grew up through the IMS and DB2 development labs, and got introduced to Rocket software back in 2000, when we were producing the DB2 tools on behalf of Rocket through the IBM channel. So yeah, so it's been quite a journey, and then obviously lots after that too.
Okay, so let me buckle up really quick, because that was a lot. That was a whole lot, and you did so much, and it sounds like you had this written path, like, okay, I did this first and then I did that, but it really wasn't like that, was it? It was more so, I saw these opportunities, I wanted those things, and I went after it. Am I on the right track here?
I think 100%. I think if anyone had told me, back at the time, I would have picked up a family and would be living in California and doing other things, I would have been like, nah, that's not really where I'm headed. But I do think that I knew when I wanted something, I was pretty clear about helping others figure out how to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that served me well through my career. I worked hard, no question. You have to work hard, you have to earn it. But I had fortitude in what I wanted, And
Mhm.
I had good mentors who I worked with to figure out a good path forward. And I guess I sort of knew what I didn't want more than I knew what I did want,
Mm.
which is kind of funny to say. Um, and then I think on top of it, I took some chances.
Yeah.
And, not every chance has always worked out. I've gone through lots of other experiences, which I would probably not put in the successful side of the house, but um, I think you have to wake up and know when it's time to do something different.
Ooh, I love that. You have to wake up and know when it's time to do something different, because there's a time for everything.
Mhm.
And I tell folks that a lot. I'm like, hey, that might not be the right time, or that's not the right move, but there is a time for everything. I love that. You know what? I'm gonna write that down, uh, and just keep it up on my wall and be like, oh, Alyse said that. We should put that in our back pocket. I want to I want to ask, because I know that your father was big in, in the decision making, maybe even helping you to see, hey, tech is good. But when was it when you thought, you know what, I'll go ahead and I'll do my undergrad and my master's within the technology field? When did you what made you decide, I'll go ahead and do this? And more importantly than that, what helped you to stick with it? Because a lot of folks will just be like, oh, this is so hard, or oh, I'm the only female here, or whatever the case. So how was it for you?
That's a great question because I remember when I went into university in the computer science, my first class was Pascal. And that's for me. I don't know at the time. I couldn't get it, and I had always, I'm probably that type A personality. If I got a B or B minus in class, I didn't like that. Like I always tried to work hard to get good grades. And I remember my first C, I got a C in that class. And I just was like, oh, this is not for me. I just can't get it. And my dad just kept saying, you got to stick it out. You have to develop different habits. You have to,
Mm.
work harder at it or work differently at it. So I
Mhm.
didn't give up. I can't say I loved all the classes. There's certain ones that I loved more than others, but I think I just was determined at that point that I wanted to see it through. And I
Mhm.
just kept that in the back of my mind. And then I always felt that if I did, I would be able to take that in a couple different paths. I could go into business. I could, go down a technical route. I could take that into education. So I think
Mhm.
just having that as a grounding was something I felt was important.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I think it's hard for folks to really figure out their why. And I'm always asking folks, why? Well, why did you do it? Well, I'm not really sure. No, no, no. I need for you to tell me why. Ah, now I know. You know, and to hear you say, I needed to do it. It just had to be done. That's going to make the difference in a lot of folks' mindsets, because a lot of times it's just the mindset. That's very inspiring. Very
Yeah,
inspiring.
I think it's perseverance, so it's sort of, if you had to sum it up,
Yeah.
I often have gotten the most gratification when I've done something really hard. Uh,
Mm.
Even if it didn't succeed completely, knowing that, like, I just worked so hard, like the projects that I, worked through the night, or when I would work so hard to figure out a bug and then finally solve it. When, you take a chance and you step into a new role. I think, those are the times that are often the most gratifying. They're the most challenging, often the scariest. But if you just stick with it and persevere, then
Mhm.
I often find really they're the most satisfying.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What what is what is one of those, speaking of perseverance and speaking of being gratified, what's one of the projects that brings you the most pride that you can think of off the top of your head? Because you've had so many wins. What's one of the ones that just rings to you right now?
Um, I remember a big project in IBM, and it was at a time when I was in the software group of IBM, and we were working with clients to figure out how to help them deploy software. And we were really adopting a mindset that success wasn't selling to a client, success was when a client deployed your software.
Mm,
But yet the whole system was not tooled to recognize success. So we didn't pay our sales team on success of deploying software. We paid them on the success of selling. We didn't have a good management system for, did we even know how much customers had deployed of software? Where did we have to go in and be more proactive? And one of the biggest projects I had was putting that all in place for IBM. So having to change the compensation system, have to change the way we manage the client life cycle, changing the way that we engaged with clients, changing the way information was captured around
mhm,
clients. And that was probably 10 years ago or more that I created that system. And a lot of it is still in effect today at IBM. And I think that I remember how hard we worked. We had to
mhm.
work through a lot of different teams, change a lot of different processes, but that was it really gratifying at the end. And honestly, it was amazing. It was a team coming together. At the time, I remember having just such an amazing team of people that I worked with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What would you tell someone that is new, especially like the folks that watch the show? They're new to Z. How would you explain to them the importance of learning how to work on a team, especially when you're fresh and brand new? What do you have to do to fit in? What's your best advice?
I'll tell you an example that I just came from. So I was in Vilnius, Lithuania, and
Ooh,
we have a development lab there, and about 100 people right now, and the average age is 32 of the folks who are at the lab, all working on mainframe products.
wow.
And so, this is a small country, right? 2.9 million people, more than 50% are in Vilnius, so it's very concentrated. But yet they have gone out and they've recruited, new people in the mainframe environment to learn the skill, to learn the products, to build the products. It was just amazing to see how you could have that influence back into the universities and encourage folks to come into the workforce.
Mhm,
But what has been so successful for them coming in new is that they've really felt as part of a community. So it's a small team, but they work together, they spend time together, they know each other well. And I think that no matter where you are, whether you're in Lithuania or whether you're in somewhere in Europe or Asia or the United States, that it's about building that community around you. And this is like such a great way to do that. Like you are pulling people together just in this podcast alone who
mhm.
care about what they're doing, and there's other people who share that passion and that work with them. And I think there's so many people. The world has become so small with all these social media outlets to find your community.
Mhm.
And I think beyond anything else, that is what makes a huge difference to anyone joining anywhere in their career.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I love the whole community building part, because the moment that you step in, and you're a part of it, it just everything starts to work, doesn't it?
It,
Everything starts to work.
yeah. And you're willing to just take risks because, people have your back, right? I find that also in these communities, you are less afraid to fail, and you're more able to be vulnerable and try new things and ask questions. And a lot of companies, not just the one that I represent, but many companies really are invested in making sure these communities are diverse and open and fair and inclusive. And that is bringing out a lot of different opinions and the ability to just be yourself.
Absolutely. It sounds like uh let's see, something we were talking about. I think you had told me something about Ride
Yes.
at Rocket. Can you talk more about that?
Oh, absolutely. So I've been at Rocket, by the way. I've known Rocket since the year 2000, but I've been the chief revenue officer since last October. And there are so many things about Rocket that I just am so enamored with and love the approach, because they care about people and customers deeply. And one of the initiatives is Rocket Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity. So RIDE, RIDE. And it's a program where we work with, some outside vendors as well to really make sure that we are providing the best inclusive, diverse experience for our employees, because we want them to do their best work.
Mm,
When they do their best work, then they're the best in front of our clients and in front of our partners. And we have a lot of initiatives. We have a platform. We have a number of ambassadors that we've recruited from around the globe that are on the ground with our teams, working with them on the different initiatives. We bring new folks into the fold quickly, and it's really recognized across the company as one of the efforts that's made a big difference in our population.
I love it. I love it. And that goes back to Rocket's core values. And we were talking about that before. Do you mind telling the audience what they are?
Oh, absolutely. So, um, and
I
you
love
really
this.
have to understand how these really are lived every day, but they are four values. It is love, empathy, trust, and humanity.
Mm,
Love, empathy, trust, and humanity. And every one of those values shows up in everything that we do every day. The founder of the company, Andy Eunice, he built Rocket, from his basement office. He was one of the original um, builders of QMF, and
wow.
then built a huge portfolio, a great partnership with IBM, where a lot of our products today still are delivered through the IBM channel. They're Rocket products, but they're labeled as IBM products. And then we have a whole set of other IBM products that we build and deliver to clients. So 34 years of experience around the mainframe, but always built and around those values. So Andy Eunice incorporated those values into his company, and they've been in the fabric of everything that we do. And it's, again, it's about feeling like you can bring your best self to work. It's
Mm.
about trust that everyone is doing the right thing. It's about having empathy, and understanding that everyone has, different situations they may be dealing with, and really trying to understand the root of people, the core of people, and treating them with love and respect, and having great humanity, for your teams and your company and your ecosystem of clients. And it's really brings a whole family environment to the table. So honestly, I can say that these values get transcribed into what we do every day.
I can tell, hands down, that Rocket, you handpicked, by the way, just care about the code, about everything that's going through the mainframe. This is why so many people are just scrambling to come and work at Rocket, because of the care that you all put in, and just thank you for that. And I'm so happy to hear from you what all of that means, because folks really need to hear it. We just need to hear it. Thank you for sharing those words. Now, I want to go back a little bit, because to the whole diversity aspect. Can we talk about women in technology?
No, of course.
Now, I know that there's a really big initiative for women to be a part of technology, but I feel like you're on the horse and you're just letting it go, and really spearheading uh, women in tech. Um, how do we get more women in tech? What do we have to do?
You know, I'm a big proponent of getting more, more people in tech in general, and typically with women and backing up to girls, there's still a shyness, I think, of entering some of the science, math, technology fields. So all the STEM programs that are out there today are, I think, a big way of getting the right folks entering at an early age into the
Yeah.
program. So I'm a big fan of trying to start early with anything, and whether it's certain schooling or activities, but anything that's going to help open up the world of possibilities,
Mm,
to children. And I think when you get them interested early and you show them the art of the possible, and you find a way for them to love, math and science and technology, then I think the possibilities are endless. And it's not so much that women don't have the opportunity in the workforce, because I actually think we've come a long way.
sure.
Our executive team at Rocket, by the way, is 42% women, like our senior
That's
executive.
amazing.
And so we have a great balance. And I think our leadership has done an amazing job recruiting. So I actually think, the opportunities for women are out there. There's many opportunities for advancement, for taking a career in the technology, but we don't have enough women entering and staying. That's the bigger challenge. And
Hmm.
so how do we encourage more to enter? And then in the early years, how do you encourage them to stay?
Hmm.
And that's a function of a lot of different programs. It's a function of making it a friendly set of programs when you're raising children. It's about allowing flexibility in scheduling. And at Rocket, for example, we still have a complete work from home program, because people still do great work from home. No, I think there's a lot of value in coming into the office and being with people. There's that
Sure.
community factor. So I think a balance is healthy. But I think it's programs as we have young women entering and paying back into the younger generation will make a
Mhm.
world of difference as we go forward.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Um, I've noticed that there's folks that, you know, we were talking before, people, younger women, women in general have families. They have people that they care for. And then there's just, let's say, people in general. Times are different. They're very different, and folks are taking care of other folks. You may have pets that you're taking care of, or whatever the case may be. You may have school. There's many different scenarios, and to be able to have that flexibility, and you're still getting the job done, still making your commitments and what have you. That's wonderful, and to be able to
Yeah.
have that sort of flexibility is great. Um, and having someone to look at you and say, you know what, you're doing a really good job, and we're so proud of you, is huge. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love it. I think that is going to help a lot of people. Um, can we talk?
Letitia,
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanna you made me think of something else that I find is really important, and it's
Yeah.
that it is that feedback. You mentioned that real quickly, but, one of the things that I also find is really effective, is really staying, in touch with and providing feedback to, folks across the entire organization. And,
Mm.
one of the things that I've always done, and it's been really effective, is reverse mentoring. And I bring it up because it's not something that we talk about much, but it's been sort of a little bit of the secret sauce for me going through is I love to be mentored by by different, folks across the organization, outside the organization, folks just coming into the organization. And then just seeing some of those folks flourish has been really, really beneficial and like exciting for me. But
Mm.
I encourage that, like, so spending the time and, you know, speaking with and mentoring and getting mentored back with a different set of the population, diverse
Mhm.
population, has been really helpful.
I love to hear you say that because I feel the exact same way. It's truly an even exchange, and it's so beneficial for each party because you get this, "Oh, this is what you're doing, well, this is what I'm doing. Oh, well, you know what? I forgot about that," or, "I haven't seen it that way before. I may look into that." That's wonderful. Ooh, that's very inspiring to hear. Um, I wanna ask you, I have a whole, I keep my notebook. I have a whole list here. But with the little bit of time that we have left, I wanna ask you about modernization versus standardization. Is there a difference? And if there is, what is it?
Well, let me talk about modernization for a moment, and then we can compare it to anything else you might throw into that category. I mean, if you step back, the pace of technology is changing very rapidly. Whether or not you're talking about generative AI or you're talking about hyperscalers and shift to cloud and hybrid cloud, the pace of technology is moving very, very fast.
Mhm,
And companies have years and years and years of investment into very large infrastructures. And these are infrastructures that have developed over time, and they're infrastructures that are very complex. And so every company is trying to really deal with two different things at the same time. One, how do they have save cost in those infrastructures? And then how do they take those infrastructures forward so that they're able to take advantage of the new technologies? And
mhm,
so that journey is a journey of modernization. It's a journey of identifying how to um, leverage the technologies on your existing platforms so that you can get greater scale, greater performance improvements, yield lower cost, get a better return on your investment without having to make major application changes, major infrastructure changes. Like, so there are optimizations that you can do on your existing infrastructures, and they will really drive a lot of productivity into the environment. And then there are opportunities to take some of that environment and move it to other platforms, whether those are the hyperscalers or whether they are a blend of hybrid cloud environments. Then you have the opportunity to identify applications you might shift or you might rewrite. And all of that is part of the modernization journey as well. And so modernization has a lot of different attributes associated with it, but it is really a call for all companies to identify what is that journey for them, and what software is going to help me move my company along. Because in the end, it's really not about the technology, it's really about what the technology will do.
mhm.
And every company has their own journey to figure out. And it all comes down to initiatives around better customer insight, better customer satisfaction, faster time to market, time to value for our clients. And so that's a journey of modernization.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, you might say, well, I want to have standardization on certain software stacks, or I want to have standardization to certain protocols. That may be an objective as part of that modernization journey. But the real initiative for clients is around modernization. And that what we call it at Rocket, modernization without disruption, because you need to do everything that I just described, but you still need to operate your businesses 24/7. So how do you drive at a modernization agenda without disrupting the business? And so, again, that really is what clients are focused on right now.
That is a very good explanation. It's very good because you don't want to disrupt what everybody's doing. You don't want to shatter everyone's flow,
Right.
but you still want to make it better. You still want to make it faster. You still want to make it stronger. That's excellent. That's excellent. If you were out there and you were watching, you know who you are. Take that little piece, please, because that's huge. That's huge. Um, I wanna ask you a little bit about hypercloud. What's that all about?
Well, it is a lot of what I just described. So hybrid cloud is the ability to look at your infrastructure, your applications across a variety of platforms.
Mhm.
Um, whether that is mainframe platform or system I environments or distributed that you run in-house or one of the hyperscalers, AWS, Azure, et cetera. You know, Having an environment that allows you to look at your business and your application and support those applications through a hybrid environment, that is, that is really a architecture uh, statement, an architecture discussion. And so,
Mhm.
again, a lot of companies are trying to figure out, like, how do I bring my company forward? How do I provide that next level of service to clients? How do I leverage AI to provide more predictive capabilities, to improve productivity, to perhaps do more of the mundane tasks so I can free up resources to do more of the complex tasks?
Mhm.
How do I provide better customer support to my clients? How do I provide more self-service capability to my clients? Those initiatives will require a technology foundation that spans, the different environments, and
Mhm.
that hybrid, tends to be what we would call a hybrid cloud or a
Mhm.
hybrid environment.
Yes, absolutely. And so with that being said, we get into the whole AI piece. And I heard that the future is really real and very close with AI and Rocket, and that Rocket has some news that's sprinkling down. Can you tell us more about that with as far as the AI front?
Well, I can definitely talk about the AI front, or just in general, like the initiatives. But I think the sprinkle down you're referring to is the acquisition that um, we announced that we are making. So let me start with that, and then I'll
Okay.
work backward into the AI space. So, um, as you know, we've been building, software for large systems for 30 plus years, and we continue to buy or build really great capabilities. And so we've announced our intention to acquire a set of assets from OpenText, which were formerly part of Micro Focus. So the portfolio that we are acquiring is the application modernization and connectivity portfolio. So a lot of the assets that allow this transformation through hybrid cloud and through this mixed architecture environment. And as part of that, there is amazing technology that's coming over as part of that acquisition. But in general, it's AI capabilities are really being built into, the portfolio, um, regardless of what product you're referring to. So it's really important that we leverage AI technologies to deliver products that are better consumed by our clients. And one of the, you look at what we're doing around building a full content platform. So how do you store, access, manage your unstructured content information from any platform? And how do you identify dependencies between applications, whether or not, it's using unstructured data or structured data? What are the interdependencies? A lot of that can be enhanced with AI capabilities, which we are incorporating into the platform. Customer support and being able to identify problems in code faster, right? Those are capabilities that even we're infusing AI technologies into. So there are many different ways to instrument AI into the portfolio, which we will continue to do, as well as acquire, leading edge capability, which we are doing with the open text acquisition of the AMC assets. So we have a lot going on, and technology just continues to move forward very, very quickly.
That's a lot. I'm so glad that I have my seatbelt on, because I'm sitting here and in my brain, I don't know if you can even see it clicking, but it's click, 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 click. And I'm thinking that alone should inspire someone, motivate them, put the fires on high, if you will, to go out and just say, you know what, I'm going to learn this technology. I'm going to figure out a way to utilize it, build products with it, sandbox this stuff at my house if I can, or at my local library, or whatever you do to make it happen, and do that, right? Um, in your opinion, Alyse, what can those that are new to Z, new to mainframe, new to technology, how can those individuals learn uh, these types of skills so that they can be able to use powerful technologies like what you just described?
I think there's an amazing set. I mean, I'm almost jealous that I'm not back in the tech world and writing code again, because there's just an amazing set of assets and communities and uh, help and material and education that's at your fingertips. Like, there is really no reason that anyone couldn't go and absorb the information that they're looking for, to either help them in their current role or take them on a different path. And my daughter, one of my daughters, also went down a technical route and was an IBMer. I'm second generation, she's third generation,
Very
and
cool.
she didn't have a tech degree. She actually had a kinesiology degree, and decided
Wow.
she was going to take that, and she still kind of went down the technical route, and she picked up a course or two around data science and just wanted to understand, could she be a data scientist, and just decided that she was going to go train herself. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, that takes a lot of training, and that's not where she landed. But the fact that she even could educate herself to figure some things out, whether or not she wanted to do it. She took some online coding courses. I have a son who, by the way, also works for IBM as an engineer
Wow.
there. And in his spare time, he's doing game development.
Um,
And he finds the right places to go, the communities to help him. And I think there really isn't any reason not to find the information that you're looking for. It's all out there.
it's all out there. I love that. You just got to go find it. You got to go look.
Yep.
There's a lot of uh, resources that one can can just go and grab at and take and glean. And I will put those in the description later on. Like there's like uh, the academic initiatives from IBM, IBM 𝗔𝗍𝘆𝘀𝗲. Rocket has a wonderful YouTube channel where there's
Yeah.
literal tutorials. I have gleaned from those myself on many occasions. And so,
Thank
there's
you for mentioning that. I really appreciate it.
no, you have no there. Listen, there's so much out there, just like what you described. Like, how could you could be here for another 30 minutes telling us everything, all of the different. That's what I'm saying. I will do it. And I will put it in the description. But there's so many different things that we can glean from all these resources, and it's because of people like yourself and other tech heroes that have put in the work to make sure that people like myself and others have what we need so that we can be able to move forward and continue to keep our mainframe skills up and keep the mainframe ecosystem powerful. Thank
Well,
you.
Leticia, let me just say to you, thank you for that. But you are really the tech hero. You and your peers who work hard to get this information out. You are building a community. You're an IBM champion. You're a mainframe champion, and you're the real heroes.
Oh, well, thank you. We're trying to be like you. So listen, I really appreciate you coming through and spending time with us on this beautiful Sunday. It's not raining anymore, which is really nice.
Day, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. And to yourself. And is there anything else or anyone that you like to say hello to before we close out?
Oh, wow. Well,
I know
first,
the time went by really quick, quick,
it
quick.
went by so fast, and you're right. We could have gone a whole lot longer. First, I just thank you. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
giving me an audience here, and I hope to be able to have a voice with more folks like this. And when I see them at conferences and different opportunities where we may get together, I really, maybe it's a shout out to everyone who is wondering if they can. And then I will just leave you with the question that I ask anyone who's pondering the next move or whether or not they're ready. My favorite words are, why not you? And I ask people to really think about the why not. Why not you? And
That's
if you
awesome.
can't come up with a good reason, then you're just have to get out of your own way.
Get out of your own way. Why not you? Why not you? I love it. Well, thank you, Alyse. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And I'll go ahead and close this out. Y'all, we have just had the one of the best times, one of the best conversations here on Tish Talks Tech. And I say that like almost every week. But we really did. We really did. Look, you can do it. We learned a lot today. Alyse has brought us some gems that she has dropped. They have been sapphires and diamonds and all sorts of wonderful things that we have gleaned. And I hope that you really enjoyed yourself. You can do it. Why not you? Please remember those things because you can do it and it can be you. So I really appreciate you. Thank you, Alyse, for coming through
Thank you.
and telling us all the things that we can do. So y'all come back with us next week. It's going to be awesome again. So I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Alyse.
Thank you.
Thanks.